Hey everybody, this is David Skrikow. I'm gonna see if this works a little better. I changed it to be 1-for-1. It was a 16:9 ratio before. Even though I'm good at some technology I stink at. So like I have this. I got a mic, for my, computer, and then I finally got a new MacBook when I was in Canada, and then I realized my mic was USB, and this was all these new Mac is so horrible that way. Just keep the USB. Anyhow, it's all they have is those C things like I use to charge my phones with, the C charger. So I had to get a C to USB adapter. On the island, we don't exactly have Best Buys and stores for that stuff. So I just ordered one online. And then when you order stuff here, you send it to a forwarding address in Miami. Then they send it over. So it usually takes 2 to 3 weeks. So I'm hoping that gets here within a week or two. So anyhow, so it's a beautiful day here. Taking my walk on the beach. Ocean's swelling a bit. That Hurricane Lee is out there. It will probably hit peak here in terms of the swell Wednesday or Thursday. I would think so. So what I'm talking about today in the stock chart of the day is we're going to talk about not every time we're going to do just a stock chart on a company or the markets. We're going to do like a macroeconomic chart. And one of my themes about cheap money or asset bubbles hiding everything has been how the average person's standard of living has been going lower for decades now. And so what this is a little graphic with kind of a cover of an old R&B song, and it just shows from the 90s or 80s, the percentage of wage increases and the percentage that rents have gone up. And the long story short is, as you see it go on to the end till about now, wages are only up in the last 35 years, like about 35 to 40%. So basically 1% a year, and rents are up close to I think 160% according to this chart, to 160 and 180. So basically 4 to 5 times as much. And so you can see what does that mean? That means that someone made like $50,000 in 1985, they make 65,000 or maybe 70,000, let's say 40% now, and if their rent was $2,000 a month, say, or now it would be $5,000 a month. In a place like New York, it probably would have been about 2,000 in the 80s. And now the average apartment in New York, I remember, because for a while I wanted to, because I was getting into trading and I wanted to move to Manhattan before I just realized I'm a small town island type boy. So I moved down here, but I remember that was about par for the course. A little 1 or 2 bedroom in Manhattan was $2,500 or $3,000, something like that. Yeah, now that was like early 2000s. Now I think it's $4,500 to $5,000. So how can someone live like that? How can you only, if you do $2,000 to $5,000 a month, that $3,000 is $36,000 a year, right? But you're only making $20,000 more, 50 to 70. So it doesn't add up at some point, So, or even if there's someone, I don't know, making 100, now you make 130. Yeah, because to get an apartment for 20 or 2,500, you can see this water's coming up around my feet now because the swells are coming in. But anyhow, so you can see that's the problem you're running into is I got to get out of this because I'm going to sink like quicksand in this. But anyhow, that's the problem that people will run into. That basically, if you're making, like say you're making 100 now, you're making 140. Again, basically you've only gone up enough to cover the extra rent. So your standard, and the cost of everything else has gone up too. So your standard of living is way lower. Like everyone knows that since the mid 80s, inflation is up more than 40% over that 35-year period. Everyone knows that, right? So, and we all know, so that's why the average person is basically losing their standard of living. So yes, things like technology have increased. We have these smartphones now. You know, like one of those brick phones back in the 80s cost thousands of dollars, right? We have computers, big screen TVs. Like I bought like an 85-inch TV, which was like lower end one, because we have all these power outages and surges on the island, and you don't want to deal with it. And I bought a TV. I think it was like $700, $800. It was like the cheapest 85-inch I could find. And so yeah, like again, like I remember I bought like a 70-inch that was nowhere near as good as the TVs I have today when I first moved here in 2011. And I think that thing was like $1,500 to $2,000. So yeah, so TV that's bigger, better, you know, can do more, you know, in terms of all the apps and, you know, all that sort of thing, is less than half the price. So yeah, that kind of thing has gone down, but cost of living, everything else, food, things you really need, food, gas, cars, shelter, all way up. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that. This one is gonna be a quick one today. Actually, the last ones have just kind of been long. I like to keep them between 5 and 7 minutes, and this is about 6 minutes. So see here, nice day here today. Gonna walk up the beach there, walk back, walk to my house, watch the football game tonight. Oh yeah, and we're gonna have one on the probably my one for Wednesday. I'm gonna go back to the cannabis stocks because they absolutely rocked it today, and people are making some money. So that's always a good thing, right? Everybody take care and have a wonderful evening.